on today's FYI program. A real pleasure to have Dave Helscher in studio with us. Of course, the annual 4th of July Festival coming up on Monday. And Dave, we were talking before on air. You told me this is the 11th annual event, and it's just incredible that this is the 11th year already.
Yeah, we got started in 2011. It started about 6 weeks before the 4th of July. The Land sisters, Emily and Aaron, just kind of thought we should do something to celebrate the 4th year in Clinton. And they looked for some help, and I said, sure, I'll help out. And here we are. This will be our 11th year of the Clinton 4th of July Festival.
Okay, and again, the parade is what really kind of got things going. The girls wanted to have a parade. That is still the centerpiece, but now, Dave, there is so much more that goes on the 4th of July.
You have to use plural, centerpieces. We do have a parade. That is a big thing. That will be on Riverview Drive starting at 1 o'clock and wrap around Riverview Drive. But I mentioned we've got several centerpieces that we've added on. We're still trying to keep it very much a family-friendly environment. We have music at the band shell. We have other exhibits, a wrestling match. We've incorporated the ball game with the Lumber Kings. We've got a strongman competition coming this year. And then the big news and the big change from previous years is that we've got a carnival coming this year.
Okay, well, let's get started with that. The carnival, how did that all come about?
The carnival people contacted me. They had evidently had done a similar event in the area a number of years ago, and they contacted the chamber, who said, well, call Dave. And we made contact, and we were able to find a date. They had an opening on July 4th, and it has been an experience and a learning process, a very steep learning curve on how to put together a carnival, and we're still putting it together even as we speak.
You were telling me that right now the carnival is in Mount Pleasant, Iowa, making their way north.
Actually, part of the carnival is on grounds, and I had to go visit that later this morning.
Okay.
But the rest of the carnival, they had to take a break and catch some sleep right around Mount Pleasant. They're due to arrive later this afternoon, and then they'll start setting up most likely tomorrow. They may be able to operate on Saturday. We've got to get through some state equipment inspections and food inspections before they're allowed to operate. But the plan is for them to start operating on Sunday and then on Monday on the 4th of July Festival.
Okay, and they're going to be located where?
They're going to be located across Ballpark Drive from the Band Shell Park area, what used to be called the Allied Steel property, in the fenced-in area, and that the carnival will all be located there. That will be a ticketed event. I can't give you specifics on what the costs are and what the deal is. We've just arranged for them to set up and operate a carnival as part of our festival.
Okay, but a great addition to the festival, no doubt. And as you pointed out, they're hoping to be going on Sunday, going again on Monday. Now, you talked about the learning curve. What all goes into getting a carnival into your community?
Well, you got to figure out what you want as far as rides and displays. Because it is a family-friendly event, we want rides for little kids, not so little kids, bigger kids, and then great big kids like you and I. And they can't be specific on it because they operate, the carnival's out of Arkansas, and they started their season in February along the border down in Texas, and have been kind of working their way north. In April, they were attached to the Alabama State Fair. This event coming to Clinton, they're coming from locations in Missouri and Kansas. And so they're picking and choosing rides that they don't have to retire momentarily for maintenance, repair, and what they have available and what they can transport. And so they're bringing those. And so it will be as much a surprise to me as it will be to everybody else what will actually show up.
And again, as you pointed out, there will be fees, of course, for the rides, but the event itself is free, but there are badges that people can buy to help for the expenses, correct?
Absolutely.
Yes, you're on air here.
Yeah, as your listeners can see, that is a joke. We do have badges. That was designed, we put out a little contest, the area schools, students K through 5, to submit a drawing. Our committee selects a winner. Addie Burke from Comanche was our winner this year. We have commemorative badges that are available for a suggested donation of at least $1 or more that helps defray the cost of the expenses. It gets you admission to a free event, but it doesn't get you anything more than helping to support the 4th of July festival.
And this is something you've been doing for a while now. And is the participation pretty good from the youngsters?
It will vary from year to year. During the COVID period, the participation was relatively low, but we still had applicants, and they picked up again this year. Kind of depends on what the kids want to do. We go through the schools. This year, I think we had about 24 applications. Kids draw a button, mention the 4th of July, something that's related to the 4th of July and Independence Day, include Clinton and the year on the drawing, then they submit. And it's interesting to watch the kids' imagination. Fireworks is always popular, the flag. And then you get a little bit of fantasy. It's just kind of curious how a child's mind works.
Again, visiting with Dave Helscher, the annual 4th of July festival coming up on Monday. Now, as we mentioned, the donations, that money coming in from the sale of these badges, but you get great support from the community. I saw in the paper, Billion Auto really helping out with the fireworks.
We've had fantastic community support. Billion Auto's made a good donation. They're a co-sponsor of the fireworks display, and because of other contributions, we've been able to add a little more. So this year's fireworks display will be a little bit more than it has been in prior years. The City of Clinton was very cooperative with a donation, and it was approved as a matter of public record. And the various departments of the city have been fantastic. A shout out to the Parks and Recreation Department. Lisa Frederick has been a godsend working with the carnival on the permit application, the police department, the fire department, area businesses, individuals. There's a lot of community support for that, and it is very, very much appreciated.
You bring up something that maybe a lot of people don't realize, but there are so many different agencies, people that you need to contact to put together this one-day event.
Oh, absolutely. Parks and Recreation, being able to lease the grounds. I mentioned the carnival. There's a number of different inspections that have to go through. The use of electricity, water, working with Iowa American to have a hand washing station, and adding this year a misting station. We have to have insurance on various, like the petting zoo, the carnival, the wrestling event. They all have to have co-insurance so that we're protected from a liability standpoint. The parade, we ask applicants to submit and waive liability. Contracts with the various vendors that are supplying the petting zoo, the music that'll be on the band shell, the wrestling, the carnival. It's for the most part, I've got most of the documentation for all the various events that are going on.
Has it gotten easier for you, Dave? I know you've been involved from the start, putting this together. I mean, you got a general idea of what you need to do now?
We have a general idea, but each year we try to add something different, like the carnival, which I said has been a very steep learning curve. Because it was the first year, it's a little difficult to anticipate all that's going to be required. So it's an educational process. We try to change things up. In previous years, we've had large inflatables. They won't be here this year. They're not available, but we have a carnival. So it's switching different events in and out, trying to add small things to make many events enjoyable, and people can come down and make a day of it and save a little bit at the gas pump. They don't have to drive so far. Have a stay vacation.
There you go. And I know in years past you've made it somewhat educational as well. Didn't you have something from the University of Iowa one year?
For a couple of years we had something from the University of Iowa with a mobile museum on bus, but the funding got cut on that and that got mothballed. But as far as education, in the park, free events. We've got Cheeky Gallery coming this year. It's an interactive art project that people can participate in. The Pink Heels Cancer Awareness Bus, cancer awareness of breast cancer. Midwest Save a Life, CPR information and some demonstration and the ability to get certified. March for Our Lives is going to have an information booth. We've also have a couple other little kiddie tractors on the dike, the misting station. There's just a lot of little things, moving parts going on.
Again, visiting with David Helscher. We'll talk about the rundown of the day after this break for the weather, brought to you by Midas.
Another kind of steamy afternoon expected for us as the humidity continues to increase. Though we'll keep mostly sunny skies around, highs returning to the low 90s for this afternoon. It feels like temperatures close to 94, 95. Tonight, muggy as clouds begin to increase and slight chance of a shower and thunderstorm late. Lows only dropping to the low 70s. We'll see scattered showers and thunderstorms for Friday morning, and then likely drying out for the afternoon. And because of those showers and storms, it will be a cooler day, and watch for decreasing humidity too by the second half of the Friday. We'll see highs in the low 80s. Sneak peek into the weekend, mix of sun and clouds for both Saturday and Sunday. Upper 80s for Saturday, around 90 for Sunday. With your Storm Track 8 forecast, I'm meteorologist Andrew Stutzky.
Thanks so much, Andrew. Right now, fair skies, sunshine. We near 80 degrees. Our update brought to you by Midas. Trust the Midas touch. The Clinton Midas on Lincoln Way. With a high price of gas, you want your vehicle to be running efficiently. And the experts at Midas are here for you. From oil changes to major repairs, count on the Clinton Midas. Right now, get up to $100 back by mail on select shocks and struts with paid installation. Plus, save $50 instantly if brakes are needed for your vehicle. See the Clinton Midas for complete details. Midas, 1432 Lincoln Way. Phone 242-2511. Trust the Midas touch, the Clinton Midas. FYI with Dave Helscher, of course, the annual 4th of July event coming up on Monday. Well, Dave, let's give the folks a little bit of a rundown. When does everything get started down there on the riverfront?
Well, for me, it's going to start sometime before 8 o'clock, but officially we start off with a wiffle ball tournament. That'll be starting at 8 in the morning. A volleyball tournament that'll start at 9. A bags tournament at 10:30. Gateway Community Center is sponsoring a car show. That's to start around 9 o'clock until about 2 to 3 in the afternoon. We'll have food trucks on the grounds operating starting around 11 o'clock. Essential Coffee, Hy-Vee, Kelly Girls Pizza, Holly Hot Dogs, Nachos, and Jules Homemade Ice Cream. The carnival will probably get going on Monday, sometime between 10 and 11, and then they'll be operating up until the end of the ball game. The parade will be at 1 o'clock on Riverview Drive. I have to make mention of our 2 Grand Marshals this year.
Yes.
People probably will recognize the names. Dave Vickers, formerly of KROS Radio, longtime news director and general manager out here, and his blushing bride, Karen Vickers, and then our button winner, Addie Burke, and the mayor will join as part of the dignitaries. They will be riding the electric train from the Sawmill Museum. We've made room so that Karen and Dave will have riding in the coal car. We're going to stick the mayor and a button winner in 2 of the coaches. She'll fit easily. The mayor, we might have to squeeze in. At 2 o'clock, we're going to have the singing of the national anthem of a representative from the Showboat Theater. The music at the band shell, that's going to be provided by a group that's called the Resistors. They're a Roadhouse blues group out of Galena. They'll crank up at 2:30 at the band shell and play until about 4 o'clock. Central States Wrestling will have their wrestling matches starting around 4 o'clock until about 6. Miller's Petting Zoo will have a petting zoo available for the little ones, and that'll start at 2 and they'll run until 6. There'll be a strongman competition. That'll be located on the dike. They'll be operating from 2 to 5. It's interesting to watch. Wears you out. Let's see. We've also got other items in the park. I mentioned Cheeky Gallery, Pink Heels, Midwest Save for Life, March for Our Lives, kiddie tractor rides up on the dike. There'll be a misting station, a hand washing station. In this day and age of COVID and other diseases, we have that available. Then just prior to the start of the ball game, we'll have parachutists dropping into the stadium. That'll be about 6:25. And then we have the Lumber Kings game versus the Burlington Bees starting at 6:30. And then following the later of the end of the ball game or dusk, we'll have the Billion Auto Fireworks Show. And dusk is about 9:30, quarter to 10. The ball game starts at 6:30. with league rules. If the Lumber Kings are beating up on the Bees by more than 10 runs at the end of the seventh, that's the end of the game, but that's not when the fireworks will start. So
I know you've been a big baseball fan for years, and I went down last year to see a game, and it ended by the 10-run rule, and it totally surprised me. I didn't realize that they had the 10-run rule in this league.
that happened about a week ago before, too, and they were up by 15 runs over some team at the end of the seventh, and that was the end of the game. So I thought I would warn everybody. It's not necessarily the end of the game, but there's still tickets available. That is one of the ticketed events. You go down to the ballpark, see the ball game, and then wait for the fireworks, which will be weather dependent. And we are keeping an eye on the weather forecast for all 3 days.
Okay, let's hope it's nice. Let's go back over some of these things now. Those tournaments at the beginning of the day, do they register at that time as the event gets
The
underway? Dave?
volleyball, I believe you can register in the bags. Wiffle ball, I'm not sure, because
Okay.
that's a team event and probably organized before, but that's being handled out of Parks and Recreation.
Okay.
Contact the city on that and registration on that.
Okay, and then, again, a great honor for Dave and Karen Vickers. How do you come about picking a Grand Marshal?
We, as a committee, sit down and try to think of people that have made a contribution to the community. This was easy this year because I happened to think of Dave and Karen both retiring. And in this day and age, information is power. Well, Dave being the news director and general manager, a lot of people get their information from the radio. Shameless plug for KROS, but it's a source of information. Karen was president of Clinton Community College for many years and involved in the expansion of their programs. Again, information that's being disseminated to young adults as well as older adults in continuing education. That's information, that's knowledge. And once I mentioned those names, it was decided that we wanted to recognize both. They were available, and we've had some other past winners that have made other contributions to the community, but that's what we're looking for.
Before we let you go, and again, thank you so much for your time. I know you're going to be busy up to and throughout the 4th of July, but you head up a committee of volunteers, and I know you would like to see more volunteers.
We need volunteers to help organize. As I mentioned, there's a lot of moving parts, and it's a steep learning curve, and there's a lot of institutional knowledge that I'm carrying around in my head in trying to coordinate all of this that would be easier to pass on. So we need volunteers to help plan the 2023. So if any of your listeners have ideas or would like to help organize, get in contact with us, come down to the festival, look for the headquarters booth. Be more than happy to chat with you some of what's involved. We got started organizing this year, starting last January. So it takes some time to put things together.
No doubt. And Dave, again, thank you so much for coming in today, and let's hope for some great weather and another outstanding event, the 11th year for this event.
And we've not been rained out yet.
All right. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Gary.